In the second on point, we look at Nitish Kumar's announcement of an upper caste commission in Bihar. In the third on point, we interpret India's new growth rate numbers. And now let's take a quick look at the headlines. GDP growth accelerates to 7.4% in Q4, full year growth at 6.5%. Indian economy retains fastest growing tag. Centre plans steps to boost tourism in J&K post Pahalgam attack, including visits by ministers and celebrities. BSF destroyed 118 Pak posts in Operation Sindoor, crippling surveillance. Prime Minister Modi meets family of Pahalgam attack victim. Shubham Dwivedi says Operation Sindoor not over yet. Haryana CM office gets bomb threat call, security enhanced at Secretariat and CM residence. Supreme Court directs National Board of Examination to hold NEET PG exam in a single shift. India's annual defence production reaches all-time high of rupees 1.46 trillion. First batch of female cadets graduate from NDA during its 148th passing out parade. Heavy rains and winds batter Kerala, leaving 8 people dead. Is the Saboot Gang derailing India's interest? At a time when the world applauds Operation Sindoor and India's calibrated response to the Pahalgam terror attack, the opposition is asking for Saboot on the efficacy of a military operation, which in itself is not classified in a way which politicians expect it to be. There are parts that have been shared, there are parts that will never be shared. And this is not exclusive to India, it's exclusive to all military operations across the globe. There are parts of Kargil that were shared, there are parts of Kargil that were never shared. There are parts of 1971 war shared and parts classified. At the same time, former External Affairs Minister and Congress leader Salman Khurshid has punctured the narrative of PDPA and separatists on Jammu and Kashmir, praising the abrogation of Article 370 in J&K. He said that scrapping the article in 2019 led to prosperity in the region. Khurshid is accompanying a multi-party delegation touring Indonesia, Malaysia, South Korea, Japan and Singapore to engage with foreign policymakers on Operation Sindoor. On the other hand now, the third aspect, even as our MPs are puncturing Pakistan's narrative on Operation Sindoor abroad, the opposition and other regional parties are trying to puncture them at home by asking, kis ko mil rahe ho? So we are united abroad, but divided at home. We are failing to draw a line between accountability and national security. Yes, there are questions which the Congress has asked, and the position which Bharatiya Janata Party has taken as a party in government. We'll come to it later. But let's begin with the Saboot issue. Revanth Reddy, Chief Minister of Telangana, has demanded a clarity on number of Rafales that were shot down.
మోడీ గారు తెచ్చిన రాఫెల్ యుద్ధ విమానాలు మన పాకిస్తాన్ కూల్చింది. ఎన్ని కూల్చిందో రాఫెల్ గురించి చెప్పమంటే ఈరోజు చర్చ లేదు. ఈరోజు మన దేశం కాదని ఇతర దేశాల నుంచి రాఫెల్ యుద్ధ విమానాలను కొనుగోలు చేసిన మోడీ గారు మీరు జవాబు చెప్పండి. మన పాకిస్తాన్తో జరిగిన యుద్ధంలో ఎన్ని రాఫెల్ యుద్ధ విమానాలు పాకిస్తాన్ నేలగూల్చిందో మీరు లెక్క చెప్పండి. గొప్పల కోసం వేల కోట్ల రూపాయల కాంట్రాక్టులు మీకు కావాల్సిన వాళ్ళకి ఇచ్చి ఇవాళ రాఫెల్ యుద్ధ విమానాలు కొన్నారు. అవి ఎందుకు నేలగూలినాయో ఇవాళ ప్రజలకు సమాధానం చెప్పాలి.
The BJP hit back at Revanth Reddy over his remarks on Rafale fighter jets, with Sambit Patra calling him the Babbar of Pakistan.
पूछते हैं कितने रफाल गिराए, रमेश पूछते हैं कितने रफाल गिराए, रेवंत रेड्डी पूछते हैं बताओ कितने रफाल गिराए. ये जो पाकिस्तान के बब्बर हैं वो हिंदुस्तान के गब्बर हैं. बताओ कितने रफाल गिराए. ये पाकिस्तान के बब्बर, ये हिंदुस्तान के गब्बर हैं. और याद रखो हिंदुस्तान के गब्बरों, तुम्हारी वही होगी जो जय और वीरू ने गब्बर का किया था. भारत का जय और भारत का वीरता, भारत की वीरता और भारत के जय के कारण गब्बर का पराजय निश्चिंत है.
I'm joined by Jasmine Sandavalia, spokesperson Bharatiya Janata Party, Sujata Paul, spokesperson Congress, Ajit Keja, senior journalist, and KV Prasad, senior journalist. That's the panel I have. Thank you all of you for joining me. Now, let me put the questions of the Congress Party before I first give the mic to BJP spokesperson. These are the principal issues which the Congress Party has been raising. The Congress Party has been asking about a special session. Congress Party is saying that we helped Turkey in earthquake, but why did Turkey still help Pakistan with drones? The second question which the Congress has been asking, why is Trump insisting on his intervention? Where is the clarity on the matter? Third, why despite Xi Jinping outreach, things failed with China? Apart from that, there are a number of issues which the Congress Party have taken up. And why no special session of Parliament on Operation Sindoor? These are the issues which the Congress Party has raised. Now let me straight away go to Jasmine Sandavalia. Madam, my question to you is, I really don't want to get into the issue of Babbar, Gabbar, Jai and Viru, but the point is the opposition failing to draw the line between national security and accountability?
Well, it is a very sad situation because after 1971, India is going through one of the most challenging times on national security. And we have put up a very united front, and under a decisive Prime Minister, we were able to curtail our enemy and hostile enemy, and we all faced a huge tragedy in the Pahalgam incident. Unfortunately, what is happening is that the Congress is losing its plot by not understanding that politics is done within the nation, and the nation has to rally together when it comes on the sovereignty of the nation. Politics by Rahul Gandhi or by his other junior leaders or his favorite blue-eyed boys, which started from the ex-chief minister of Punjab, raising up an issue that did the army ever cross the line and hit in Balakot. Now you have the Telangana chief minister going ahead and saying, is he a schoolmaster, asking the armed forces and the prime minister that how many planes have been shot down? Is this the right and appropriate moment to ask these kind of questions? You yourself have said that there are certain things which are classified. They cannot be shared. And India has done a remarkable job while our delegations are going and presenting a beautiful, image of India, that where we went wrong, where Pakistan went wrong, and how beautifully we have projected ourselves that we do not do trade with terror.
There's one more question to you which the Congress has been raising, because their spokesperson raised it last time around. So the question to you, and then I'll go to the Congress spokesperson. They are saying that your delegation abroad are not meeting people of consequence. Your response, madam?
This is ridiculous. This is absolutely absurd. We have been, look at the kind of publicity that Mr. Tharoor's delegation is getting, Mr. Owaisi, Mr. Salman Khurshid, every that out of all the 7 delegations, the kind of publicity and kind of image building which India has got is outstanding. And it is for the opposition to harp, and unfortunately they are not understanding that this is not the time to open their mouth on such national issues.
Let me go across to the Congress spokesperson. Madam, my question to you is, do you think at this point of time demanding Saboot on issues of operation will serve any purpose? I understand that there is an issue of accountability, but there is also an issue of national security, madam. Sujata.
You're absolutely right, and that is why we are very worried about national security. And these are relevant questions because we want to ensure that every single person in our country, every citizen remains safe, which does not seem to be happening under the Modi rule. Our army goes and destroys 9 terror bases. But what does the government do? It calls for a ceasefire, and then Mr. Trump starts to take credit for it. And now Mr. Trump has filed an affidavit in a New York federal court saying that he negotiated peace in the name of trade. Now, that has to be refuted by the government, and why shouldn't we be asking this question? Because when you talk about Sindoor on the one hand, we see that you're only playing politics. Look at the way the Bharatiya Janata Party has decided to send Sindoor to houses of people, and they don't understand the culture of India. Because when you're talking about garam Sindoor flowing in your veins and then sending Sindoor to people's homes, it clearly means that you just want to gain in politics, in votes, as far as this is concerned. But besides that, there is a statement from Mr. Subramaniam Swamy of the BJP, who has been a Rajya Sabha MP of the BJP, saying, and I think you should listen to this.
Madam, I don't need to listen to your mobile phone. No, I don't need to listen to it. There is nothing mandatory, madam. Only thing mandatory in my show is politeness, and we continue with the discussion. I don't think the audience will be able to listen to this. No. Sorry, madam. You make your point. You make your point.
Have been brought down. This is what their former MP has said. So you cannot be answering what he has said.
ठीक है. You can quote Subramaniam Swamy. I don't need to hear Subramaniam Swamy. You have said that Subramaniam Swamy has said it. Ajit, what is the big issue here? What is the big issue here? Is Congress jumping the gun? Or do you think that it's because the hard politicization of Operation Sindoor that this sort of a political acrimony has erupted in last 7 days, where we are not able to sustain some sort of support for our MPs who are actually abroad and speaking on behalf of the country?
Well, my answer would be sort of the Congress MPs abroad, Salman Khurshid, Shashi Tharoor, Manish Tiwari, and several others have been doing a commendable job. So have MPs from other political parties. Supriya Sule, I heard her in Qatar, for example. Wonderful speech. So my point is, the same Congress MPs, when they are abroad, in fact, you began your program by quoting Salman Khurshid on Article 370. So they have been doing a wonderful job. The problem is some of the questions that the Congress is raising, for example, a special session in Parliament. Okay, now there's nothing wrong with that. The question they are raising every time, why is President Trump taking the credit for the ceasefire? Again, something that the government needs to give an answer. But asking for saboot, asking for evidence for each and every aspect of the war is, I think, somehow they are jumping the gun. And one reason is that politics is being played by both sides. Operation Sindoor, as the Congress spokesman pointed out, is being politicized all around. I mean, the Prime Minister had gone from Gujarat to Bengal to Bihar to UP to Sikkim. And, he's talking in different tones. For example, in West Bengal, in Alipurduar, he attacked Mamata Banerjee, Operation Bengal instead of Operation Sindoor. So there's politics on this side. The response from the Congress is equally as if Congress is not sure of what its response will be to Operation Sindoor. You see, earlier, when the BJP was talking about Hindutva, the Congress and the India allies came up with this great Mandal mission, the reservation caste survey. Now that the ruling party has come up with Operation Sindoor, which is unifying the country, there is a consensus in the country, the Congress feels it is losing the plot, and therefore it's kind of going left, right and center, not sure what it should be.
Okay, and let me introduce KV Prasad, senior journalist, then I'll come to you, Sujata. Your opening comments on this. The whole debate, you joined a little late. My question was that why is this constant question of Saboot, I mean to say, do you think that is Congress looking for some sort of a coffin scam out here that was way back 20 years ago?
Well, I think, Karthikeya, the situation is not comparable to coffin scam. Because coffin scam arose from a CAG report. We all know that. And that is what led to the issues at that point of time. And then, of course, the other issues cropped up. And coffin scam was different because we had an institutional...
It's an analogy. I didn't mean that it's coffin scam. It's an analogy. It's like...
I was just putting it for the benefit of the viewers who may have not read or may not have followed that particular aspect. Yeah, that's all. I'm not trying to correct you. Let me be honest on that. Okay. It's just that I was getting the context into it. But the fact remains today, there are issues that have cropped up, not just in Indian press. Internationally, people are, today, for instance, just 24 hours before, one of the leading think tanks in the US, Stimson Center, has done a clinical analysis of the 4-day conflict, as they called it. They have not questioned it as a war. There are a lot of technical issues they've gone into. There is this very question that people are asking. Now the question is, is it the right time to ask? That's the question probably we are looking at. One, I see it in two different aspects. The Congress party has contributed in this entire narrative being part of a global campaign. The Congress members of parliament have gone, and 2 or 3 members have been union ministers. So they are very well aware of what they are. Rather, all 4 of Congress members who are part of the delegations have been union ministers, some cabinet ministers too. So they're very responsible people who know what is required. Unitedly, yes, you're right. We are putting up a united face. We're talking to the world. There are issues people have raised. Has it led to an impact? Well, I think there are 2 ways of looking at impact. Impact may not be straight away. You may not have gained enough mileage in terms of press publicity. That's a fact. Many papers we have seen reports coming from Indians present in other countries that it has received, some delegations have received lukewarm response in the press. But just carrying in the press is not there, because their outreach is also to think tanks, influential people and others who can mold public opinion, and that might take time. So we have to give that play
but there's, Mr. Prasad, there is also another thing. We are united abroad, but we are divided at home. Let me play out one important issue for my viewers, then I'll go to both the spokespersons. Salman Khurshid has punched the separatist narrative on Article 317 JNK. The former External Affairs Minister, Congress leader, has said it's unfortunate that Pakistan wanted to undo the development and the prosperity that has come to Kashmir. But let me play out the most important bite of Salman Khurshid, in which he said the positive contribution of removal of Article 370 had on the valley.
Kashmir had a major problem for a long time. Much of that was reflected in the thinking of the government in an article called 370 of the Constitution, which somehow gave an impression that it was separate from the rest of the country. But Article 370 was abrogated. It was abrogated, and it was finally put to an end because so much time has passed. Subsequently, there was an election in 65% participation in election. There's an elected government in Jammu and Kashmir today. And therefore, for people to want to undo everything that has happened, the prosperity that has come to Kashmir is something which is very, very unfortunate. And it will give a setback to anybody. And as you know, your part of the world, in all the countries in this neighborhood, nobody can be told, give up a part of your sovereignty, give up a part of your country, give up a part of your family. Kashmir and we are family together. Nobody can break up this family. Nobody can break up our home. That is the only message we are giving. And the limited exercise we need to do to ensure that our family remains safe is all we did for 4 days, and when we tried to give a message to Pakistan. Please don't do this misadventure. You will not succeed. And I hope that we've been able to give this message.
Now, first to Jasmine Sandhavali and then to Sajata Paul. Jasmine, to you. You had raised your hand.
But I again repeat myself that the Congress, unfortunately, is trying to take mileage out of just making hue and cry at the wrong time. They will have their time. They can raise many questions that they want to, but this is unfortunately not the timing. This is not the time. And again, I say that politics is played within the nation, not outside. Their own senior Congress leaders like Salman Khurshid, Shashi Tharoor have done an outstanding job. And because they were doing an outstanding job, they trolled them, they ridiculed them. Recently, Shashi Tharoor was dubbed as a BJP spokesperson, while they don't understand that he's not the BJP spokesperson or the Congress spokesperson. When he goes to the US and as a head of the delegation, he's representing India and he's the spokesperson of India. So there is a huge confusion which is going on between the Congress intellectual minds. There's something really fogged up that they're not being able to understand that the nation was at war and there is a different time and a different set of rules during such duress times.
Sujata, to you, and I'll play another bite after this to buffer this point.
Sure.
To you, your response, madam.
First of all, when we are talking about the questions that we are raising, we're not asking for operational details. Please, we haven't asked for those. Now, if questions are being raised, it is.
But madam, you did ask for the number of the planes that have gone down.
No, you don't interrupt anybody.
No, you did ask operational question. I'm correcting you, madam. Your Telangana Chief Minister asked for an operational information. That's an operational information.
Hang on.
That's an operational information, madam.
Hang on. If a question has been asked by a BJP former MP, everybody has a right to know that, right? He's going around giving interviews. He's not giving interviews to Congress. He's giving interviews to individual media guys. Now, so therefore,
he's the intellectual fountainhead of the Congress party, Sujata. Is he the intellectual fountainhead of the Congress party today?
I'll tell you.
The person who has attacked your leaders most viciously. I'm so surprised. I don't know whether you were in the central hall that day or not. When I think this has to be told to our viewers, because you are quoting a person again and again. You are quoting a person again and again as someone who is written, who is the paragon of all the intellect. You don't have to shout at me. So this story has to go like this. Your party was so afraid. Your party was so afraid of this gentleman. No, let's mute her. Your party was so afraid of this gentleman. I was sitting in the central hall and it was his maiden speech in the Rajya Sabha. I was sitting with Digvijay Singh. You have to understand that. And when he started to speak, madam, let me complete. Let me complete. You have to listen to this now. You have to listen. Please mute her. No. You should allow. No. So, madam, this is the last time I am telling you. This is the last time. So, in the central hall, when he got up, I saw the entire Congress party running towards Rajya Sabha because it was his maiden speech. Because people were afraid that he would launch a personal attack on the Gandhis. And I was surprised what was happening. Because it was a temporary pass I had, 5-day pass. And then I understood that he was speaking in Rajya Sabha. So madam, let's not quote people like that as they are paragon of some sort of intellect. Now you make your point.
Why are you trying to protect the government? I am saying that
I am not here to protect anyone. Make your point.
Mr. Swami has attacked us so viciously and he is asking his government and putting them in the dock. It is more reason for the government to answer his question. That is exactly the point. But I have already said, one, we are not asking for operational details. And second, as far as the response to Operation Sindoor is concerned, it is the government which is playing politics by sending Sindoor to people's homes. And just now I heard somebody say that we are united abroad, but we are divided at home. No, Mr. Sharma, we are not. When our officials go abroad, similarly when these delegates have gone abroad, they are putting forward the viewpoint of the government. So abrogation of Article 370 has not been done by BJP party, but the government of India. And that is exactly what our delegates are telling the world around. They have been briefed by the officials as to what they should be saying, and what they should not be saying is even more important, because it is the country's stand which should come out as united and as a force to reckon with, which is what every single delegate should be doing, which Nishikant Dubey is not doing, by the way. And I just heard the BJP spokesperson say that this is the first time after 1971 that there has been a national security issue. What are you talking, madam? 1971 was liberation of Bangladesh. So it was not a war for ourselves. We were fighting a war to liberate another country. And therefore, that should be remembered that we helped somebody else. That is the point.
Okay. Now moving forward, let me just account for what the MPs are doing there, because it's the United MPs of India. And these United MPs of India have presented a fantastic, a strong counter response to the Paki propaganda. They may be political opponents here in India, but the political leaders who are part of multi-party delegation have one message: expose Pakistan in front of the international community. From Congress, Shashi Tharoor, to AIMIM, Asaduddin Owaisi, to Salman Khurshid, Supriya Sule, Manish Tiwari, they stand united with the government in fight against terror. In Bahrain, Owaisi compared Pakistan to UN designated terrorist organization ISIS. In Bogota, Shashi Tharoor said he was disappointed with Colombia's stand on Operation Sindoor.
I have to say that we were a little disappointed in the reaction of the Colombian government, which apparently expressed heartfelt condolences on the loss of lives in Pakistan after the Indian strikes, rather than sympathizing with the victims of terrorism. We will say to our friends in Colombia, there can be no equivalence between those who dispatch terrorists and those who resist them. There can be no equivalence between those who attack and those who defend. We are only exercising our right of self-defense, and if there is any misunderstanding here on this score, we are here to dispel any such misunderstanding.
The best thing now which the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the Kuwait government and the Bahraini government, we have requested them when the delegation had met that they must ensure that Pakistan must be brought back in FATF grey list. That is where we will be able to control this terror financing of all these terrorist organizations. And do you know that when this person was made the field marshal in Pakistan, a US designated terrorist called Muhammad Ehsan was sitting right beside the field marshal. So this is complete. He's a US designated terrorist called Muhammad Ehsan. And there are photographs him shaking hands with this field marshal. So there is a clear-cut evidence of Pakistan's involvement. These terrorist groups are prospering over there. They are being trained over there. And their whole task is to destabilize India, to create more Hindu-Muslim riots in India.
Ajit, my question here is, look at Asaduddin Owaisi, look at Shashi Tharoor, look at Salman Khurshid. I mean, what a brilliant job these people are doing. I mean, so I'm really impressed, both as a journalist and a citizen. Such sophistication. Shashi Tharoor and Salman Khurshid was part of the 1994 delegation that with Vajpayee went to Geneva. I mean, so why is there so much of bickering at home, despite the fact that we have shown such a fantastic united front abroad? Is there a larger issue at play which we are missing?
10 seconds to me.
I'll come to you, Jasmine. I'll come to you. I'll give you, both you and Sujata will have the mic at the end of the show.
Karthik, see, politics is a combination of ideas and interests. Ideas, when we look at, Mr. Owaisi, Salman Khurshid, Shashi Tharoor, of course, very eloquent. All of them, in fact, I heard Supriya Sule in Qatar. All of them, I agree with you, are doing a commendable job. And the kind of consensus, the kind of unity of purpose, the kind of, praise that they are getting all over the world. I've been reading Western papers and some of the coverage is excellent. So there, I think we are representing ideas, fresher ideas. In fact, the Congress should be congratulating its team for, in some ways, doing a better job than, let's say, some of the BJP leaders there.
Absolutely, but Ajit, there's also one thing one has to accept that BJP has also taken a political position on Operation Sindoor. That is also the other side of it. If you look at the speeches today, the rallies are mixed with the issues of an operation that has paused. The operation has not ended officially. Isn't that true? There is also other side of the story.
So that's why I said ideas versus interest. When it comes inside the country, everyone is speaking to their own constituents. So the Prime Minister, when he goes to Calcutta, Alipurduar speech was basically for BJP's vote base in the elections next year in March. When he goes to Bihar, for example, he is obviously along with Nitish Kumar talking of NDA politics versus Mahagathbandhan. In Gujarat, you saw him giving a wonderful speech because over there the BJP is the dominant party. So interests take over ideas when it comes inside the country, whereas it's just fresh ideas, of consensus, of great purpose that we see and real eloquence from our members.
In that case, CV, the Congress can also say that जो हम कर रहे हैं वो ठीक कर रहे हैं भाई, आप भी कर रहे हैं politics, तो हम भी कर लेते हैं थोड़ी सी. Mr. Prasad,
I think
this is a question for Mr. Prasad.
Okay. Karthikeya, one, politics is the art of possible, number one. We all know that. But the question is here, the issue that you were talking of, Saboot. Now, let it be clear. On the third day, when the DG military operations, air operations, in fact, one specific question was asked to the DG air operations, whether India had lost some air assets. And that point of time, he said, we are not going to discuss our losses. That was a strategic answer, and very well so. In the operation position in place, operational details, you can deny, and there was no denial. Of course, the only thing that was very categorically said was our pilots are back home safe. So that led to a lot of open-ended answer. Nobody knows the answer. Fair enough. As I said, when is the right time to ask a question is a question that probably we are all looking at. The Congress probably is. And again, the point you made was you pointed out to four spokesperson or people of Congress and Mr. Owaisi and so on. Why are we picking them on? Because they are opposition members. Not the question is when they are gone abroad, they are Indian members of parliament. They are going to talk Indian position. Whether it is 370, whether it is Kashmir, whether it is Operation Sindoor, it is India's position. Remember, foreign policy.
Let me be very honest here. The reason why, KV, the reason why I picked them because I found all three of them to be
it is your show.
But all three of them to be the most articulate. All three of them. Let's call spade a spade. I found Salman, Shashi, and Asaduddin Owaisi to be the most articulate. That is why I picked them. There is no other reason. They are very articulate.
I see them as Indian MPs. So they are going to put India's position.
Absolutely. My issue is that if we can put out such a good display outside, so there has to be some modicum of decency inside. Jasmine, to you.
You see, unfortunately, what is happening is, like you said, that politics is played and each political party is wanting mileage out of this whole thing. This 88 hours war is a nemesis which the Congress is facing, while the BJP government chose Mr. Shashi Tharoor. The Congress didn't even put up his name. So there was always a bias against their best senior people because Mr. Rahul Gandhi starts feeling insecure. Otherwise, you yourself are saying, and every Indian will agree, that the most outstanding, articulate man who can represent India on foreign affairs is Mr. Shashi Tharoor. And he was chosen while they didn't even give his name. And they gave a name of an MP from Punjab. I belong from Punjab, who cannot even open his mouth and speak 2 lines in English. So we applaud the Congress MPs who have gone there.
Madam, you are giving fodder to Sujata. She will go back to the 2013-14 campaign.
What I'm saying is that unfortunately Rahul Gandhi starts feeling insecure and his little boys start talking against their own leaders.
I think Jasmine should have the last word because, Jasmine should have, Sujata should have the last word. Yeah.
Yes. Even you did not take the name of any BJP MP who was part of his delegation, and it's very clear that the foreign minister is not capable enough as compared to Dr. Shashi Tharoor. And that's there. Now, when you talk about decency, I think the media should question the government on 2 issues mainly. Forget how many Rafales, operational details. One is, what has happened to those 4 terrorists? When will they be shot down? Shot down is what I'm saying. And secondly, the intelligence failure which was the cause for Pahalgam terror attack. These are the important questions which the country needs answers to. And that is what the Congress stand is.
On the first part, I would say, I think, if Ajit, you can correct me, I think Home Minister said in the panel meeting that there was an intel failure when he briefed the parliamentarians in the Parliament NXC. So that if I'm correct, the government has admitted it, and I don't think there is any divergence on opinion on the fact that India will hunt down these terrorists. I don't think these terrorists are going anywhere. I've really run short of time, Sujata. I promised you will have the last word. You had the last word. I kept the end bargain when I said you will have the last word. But I don't think there should be any doubt that any government in Delhi, whether BJP or Congress, it is their moral duty to hunt down these terrorists. Whether today BJP is in power, maybe next time if the Congress is, it's the moral bounden duty to hunt down these terrorists. I don't think there can be any divergence, but I definitely believe that there can be more decency in political conversation around Operation Sindoor, because what's happening abroad and what's happening in India are like we are on two different planets. So this was on point one. In the second on point, which will happen after the break, we will look at Nitish Kumar's upper caste commission gambit. Why did he announce it suddenly? And what's the use of it? But after a short break.
For all of you corporates who are here, welcome you all to the Academy.
The all new range of perfumes by Wildstone. लोग तो notice करेंगे.